forgotten or not been able to make it. But anyway, for you joining me, thank you very much for this midweek meditation. We won't do any new techniques tonight. We'll just consolidate some that we've already practiced. But I would like to sort of start off with giving you something to think about. The idea of attention. So some people think that time is our most valuable asset because we can't get time back, is what I sort of hear quoted quite often. But I heard someone say that they think attention is our most valuable resource, our personal resource. Because where you put your attention is where your sort of thoughts follow, your moods, your emotions follow, and your actions. So wherever you place your attention is followed by your moods, your actions, your thoughts. So if we're placing our attention in the right place, define right however you want to there really, skillful, whatever, depending on the context and for you. If we're placing our attention in the right place, then all of our moods and thoughts and actions will be right. And so even if time is our most valuable personal resource, if our attention is somewhere unskillful, a waste of our energy and effort, then, we haven't used our time very wisely. So I'll just leave that with you. Because I heard it and I thought, that makes a lot of sense. Considering our attention to be our most valuable personal resource rather than time. And it really rings true with what we're trying to achieve here with mindfulness, is that the practice of mindfulness is a skill and a habit to place our attention where we want it to be. So it sort of fits. I'll just leave that with you and let it hang there, and you can think about it and contemplate over the next week or so. So let's get ourselves comfortable. And firstly, I just would ask you to sort of check in. Just bring your attention here into the middle of your chest, into your heart region. Place your hand there if that helps, but just bring your attention into your chest, into your body. And check in with how you're feeling right now. So what is your feeling? Maybe you might want to label it with a couple of different words. It doesn't matter, you don't have to label it with anything. Just sort of note how you're feeling right now, how you're sitting, maybe not physically sitting, but how you're placed in your life at this moment in time. And then ask yourself, how do I know this? How do I know that this is how I'm placed right now in my life? So maybe you labelled it as not so great. How do you know that? Maybe you labelled it as relaxed. What's telling you that? What's indicating to you that you are relaxed? And again, there's no real right or wrong answers here. It's just a way of checking in with our body, checking in with our current situation, and maybe not taking it quite so rigidly. Maybe we might feel a bit agitated, but when we ask the question, how do I know, it might fall apart. So we're not really quite so agitated after all. Or it might be very justified. You might feel a bit agitated, then you ask yourself, how do I know? And you can actually identify things. So that little bit of awareness is a great insight. Okay, so now I'll invite you to turn your attention to your body, starting with your feet. Let's do some body scans together. So sitting comfortably, if you're in a chair, your feet are about hip and shoulder width apart, flat on the floor. If you're on the floor, then you can be cross-legged, or your legs straight out in front of you. You can even be lying. So if you're lying flat on your back, just let your feet fall away from each other naturally. And your hands are beside you with palms facing upwards. If you have some slight lower back issues or that's not comfortable, you can raise your knees and have your feet just under your bottom. And then you rest your knees against each other, so your knees naturally sort of fall and touch each other and rest. But your arms are still beside you on the floor with your palms facing upwards. And we scan from our feet, just checking in. How are my feet? What's their temperature? Do I notice them touching the surface? Have we equally got one foot the same as the other? Let's move up our body now to our knees. Just check in with our knees. Can we feel them against our clothing? What's their temperature? Do we have any aches and pains? And continue up our body, up our legs to our hips. Just checking in there again. You can feel our bottom touching the cushion, the chair, the bed, whatever surface is supporting us. You can feel our hips. Now let's move up our spine. Just follow our vertebrae one by one, all the way up to our shoulders. And here we might deliberately relax our shoulders a little. Just let them fall. You might even pull them back a little bit deliberately and then let them fall. Open up our chest a little bit. Help us breathe. How are they feeling? Can we feel them within our clothing? Let's scan down our arms now to our elbows. Are they equal, each elbow against the other? Do they feel okay? Not too cold, not too hot. Relaxed. And I invite you to keep scanning all the way down to your hands now. Your hands are just relaxed, falling naturally either in our lap, on our thighs, or on the floor beside us. Fingers naturally curled. Are they tingling? Are they warm? However they are is exactly right for this moment, so don't judge it, just notice. Now let's scan back up our arms to our elbows, keep going up to our shoulders and around to the back of our neck. And we follow our neck behind our head to the crown. Our crown is just lifted ever so gently towards the sky. Let's follow over the top of our head to our forehead. Here we might check in again. How's our forehead? Is it relaxed? Is it holding any tension? Just maybe deliberately let that relax. Let our eyes relax. You can leave them closed if you like, or if they're open, try not to focus on anything in particular. Just have a soft gaze falling naturally wherever it lands. Then we're checking into our nose. We're breathing through our nose, our mouth. Relax our mouth and our lips. Our tongue up behind our front teeth. Our chin slightly tucked in. Now we scan back down the other way. Just noticing and watching our chin, mouth, nose, eyes, forehead, over the top of our head to our crown, down the back, down our neck, to our shoulders. Have they crept up again? Do we need to relax them again? And down to our arms, our elbows, all the way down to our hands. Just let them relax, fall naturally. As we scan back up our arms, all the way up to our shoulders, down our spine. We want our spine to be nice and straight, but also relaxed. Nice middle ground between stiff and floppy. Down to our hips. Keep going down our legs to our knees, all the way down to our feet. I will let you do one body scan in your own time, in silence. We take a mini break there and attend to anything that might need your urgent attention. If you don't have anything that needs attention, that's good. You don't need to take a mini break. But now let's change the focus to our breath. So So gently bring your attention to your breathing. And again, it doesn't really matter too much where you place your attention. Maybe on your nostrils, maybe on your nose itself, on your chest, on your tummy or abdomen as you watch it rise and fall. Or maybe you chase your breath coming into your body, down into your lungs, and then back out again. Or maybe you have no one particular place of focus. You're just aware of your body breathing. You follow your breath and know that you are breathing in. You are practicing mindfulness. As you breathe out, you follow your breath and know that you are breathing out. And you practice your mindfulness. So try not to adjust your breathing. Let your body do what it naturally wants to do. You're just an impartial scientist observing the laboratory of your body with curiosity, but not judgment. If you find that a little too subtle and your mind is wandering regularly, you can add counting to your breath. So breathe in, breathe out, count 1. Breathe in, breathe out, count 2. In, out, 3. Keep doing that all the way up to 10. Once you reach 10, just count backwards down to 1. It becomes a little more obvious when your mind wanders because you stop counting. And when your mind wanders from your breath, and you eventually become aware that you have wandered, just gently bring it back to your breath. No criticism, no worries. That is the exercise that we're practicing. That is the bicep curl for our mind. So every time you catch your mind wandering and bring it back to your breath, you're getting a tiny little bit stronger in your attention. If the counting is not your cup of tea, you can turn your mind to the different parts of the breath. So the beginning of the inhalation, the middle and the end. Then either a pause between the inhalation and the next exhalation, or just a change in direction. Then you'll notice the beginning, middle and end of the exhalation, followed by another pause at the bottom, or a change in direction straight back into a next inhalation. Each beginning is slightly tapered. It starts off slowly and then grows bigger into the middle of the breath, and then slowly fades away to the end. So there's beginning, middle, end of the exhalation, then a pause or change in direction, then a beginning, middle, end of the inhalation, then a pause or change in direction. So putting our mind to work, we watch our breath in these 8 different segments. as we slowly bring ourselves out of that deep focus on our breath. But before we completely come back into the world, I'll ask you just to check in again. Go back into your chest, your heart, and just feel, as we did at the very beginning, how am I right now? How am I sitting? How am I situated in life right at this point in time? And then ask yourself, how do I know? Does it feel different to 30 minutes ago? How is it different to 30 minutes ago? Alright, I will say goodbye to my Facebook feed, and hopefully you've enjoyed that. It's been useful for you, and I'll see you next week.